Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in the history of the sport. Whether she deserved to be or not, she is in terms of the fan interest.
This place and these fans, and I mean, it was as loud as it gets when we went on that 8-0 run to start the game, so just thank you.
Moment when past and present collide on a basketball court can change everything in an instant. That's exactly what happened during a crucial Indiana Fever game when Caitlin Clark's eyes swept across the sold-out crowd and locked onto a familiar face that brought her entire world rushing back in a flood of memories.
Caitlin Clark has done for the game of women's basketball, but tonight she is 8 points away from cementing her.
The reaction that followed wasn't just about basketball. It was about family sacrifice and the people who shaped the journey of a young woman who would become the face of an entire sport. But who was this mysterious figure from her past whose presence could stop the WNBA's biggest superstar in her tracks? What history did they share that could create such an overwhelming emotional response in front of thousands of fans and millions of viewers? The story behind this moment reveals the human side of greatness and the connections that transcend even the brightest spotlight. The emotional weight of professional sports often extends far beyond the game itself, encompassing the relationships and experiences that shape athletes into the competitors they become. For Caitlin Clark, whose rapid rise to WNBA stardom has been nothing short of meteoric.
Caitlin Clark all night tonight.
Are you talking about my high school experience?
The journey to professional success included countless individuals who contributed to her development both as a player and as a person. The intensity of professional basketball combined with the unprecedented attention she has received since entering the WNBA can sometimes overshadow the personal connections that remain central to who she is beneath the spotlight. Clark's path to becoming the WNBA's most recognizable player began long before her record-breaking rookie season with the Indiana Fever. Growing up in West Des Moines, Iowa, she was surrounded by a community of coaches, mentors, and supporters who recognized her exceptional talent from an early age. Her high school career at Dowling Catholic High School was marked by remarkable achievements and the guidance of individuals who helped nurture her skills while keeping her grounded in the values that would carry her through the challenges of elite competition. The transition from Iowa to the University of Iowa represented a significant milestone in Clark's development, both athletically and personally. During her 4 years playing for the Hawkeyes under coach Lisa Blutter, she not only broke numerous records and led her team to unprecedented success, but also formed relationships with coaching staff, teammates, and university community members who became integral parts of her support system. The emotional connections forged during those college years created bonds that would remain important throughout her professional career. Her college career included memorable moments that showcased not just her basketball skills, but also her character and emotional depth. The relationship between Clark and coach Lisa Blutter became particularly significant as Blutter provided both strategic guidance and maternal support during Clark's transformation from highly recruited prospect to national phenomenon. The coach's influence extended beyond basketball fundamentals to include lessons about handling pressure, maintaining perspective, and staying connected to the relationships that matter most. The emotional stakes of Clark's final college games.
Clark, a good look from three. She got it! The first three!
Particularly the NCAA tournament runs that captivated national audiences, demonstrated her ability to perform under intense pressure while remaining connected to the people who had supported her journey. The tears shed during both victories and defeats revealed the depth of her investment in success, not just for herself, but for the teammates, coaches, and community members who had become family during her college years. The draft process and transition to professional basketball required Clark to navigate new relationships while maintaining connections to the people who had been central to her development. The Indiana Fever organization became her new professional family. But the bonds formed during her amateur career remained important sources of strength and motivation. Questions arise about how elite athletes maintain these personal connections while adapting to the demands and pressures of professional sports careers. Clark's rookie season with the Indiana Fever has been defined by unprecedented success and attention, but also by the emotional challenges of adapting to professional basketball while living under constant public scrutiny. The pressure of being the #1 draft pick, combined with the expectations generated by her college success, created situations where the support of trusted mentors and family members became crucial for maintaining both performance and emotional well-being. The relationship between athletes and their support systems often becomes more complex as careers progress and success brings new challenges and opportunities. For Clark, whose rapid ascent to stardom has been accompanied by intense media attention and commercial success, maintaining connections to the people who knew her before the fame becomes both more difficult and more important for staying grounded in her values and identity. The emotional demands of professional basketball extend beyond the physical challenges of competition to include the psychological pressure of representing not just oneself, but also family, community, and the broader sport. Clark's role as the face of the WNBA's growth and increased visibility creates additional emotional weight that requires strong support systems and meaningful personal connections to navigate successfully. Sports psychologists note that elite athletes often rely on visual connections to important people in their lives during moments of high stress or emotional intensity. The presence of familiar faces in crowds can serve as anchors that help athletes maintain perspective and emotional stability during the pressure of professional competition. These moments of recognition and connection can provide strength and motivation that extends far beyond the immediate game situation. The crowd dynamics at WNBA games have changed dramatically since Clark's arrival in the league, with attendance figures reaching historic levels and creating atmospheres that rival major college basketball environments. The energy and emotion generated by these larger, more engaged crowds can amplify both the positive and challenging aspects of professional competition, making personal connections and emotional support even more significant for player performance and well-being. Clark's impact on Indiana Fever attendance has created situations where games regularly feature sold-out crowds that include not just local fans.
Second three of the quarter for Caitlin Clark,
but also supporters who travel from across the country to witness her performances. These audiences often include people from various stages of her basketball journey, creating opportunities for meaningful moments of recognition and emotional connection during games. The business side of professional basketball has brought Clark into contact with numerous individuals who contribute to her success behind the scenes. From trainers and support staff to media relations professionals and marketing representatives. While these relationships are primarily professional, many of them develop personal dimensions that can become important sources of support and perspective during the challenges of a professional basketball career. Clark's social media presence and public persona have made her more accessible to fans while also creating new challenges for maintaining privacy and authentic personal relationships. The balance between public engagement and personal connection requires careful navigation, particularly when dealing with people from her past who may not be accustomed to the attention that comes with being associated with a high-profile athlete. The financial success that has accompanied Clark's professional career has created new opportunities for supporting the people and causes that matter to her, while also requiring careful consideration of how to maintain authentic relationships without the complications that can arise from significant wealth and fame. The ability to give back to coaches, mentors, and community members who contributed to her success becomes both an opportunity and a responsibility that adds emotional complexity to these relationships. Family dynamics often become more complex when one member achieves extraordinary success and public recognition. For Clark, whose family has been central to her development and success, maintaining close relationships while navigating the demands of professional basketball requires ongoing attention and effort from all parties involved. The emotional support provided by family members becomes even more crucial during the high-pressure situations of professional competition. The role of former teammates in an athlete's emotional support system can be particularly significant as these individuals understand the unique challenges and pressures of competitive basketball in ways that others might not. Clark's relationships with former Iowa teammates who are now pursuing their own professional careers create ongoing connections that provide mutual support and understanding during the transitions and challenges of post-college basketball. Coaching relationships often extend far beyond the formal end-of-player-coach interactions, with former coaches remaining important mentors and sources of guidance throughout athletes' careers. The emotional bonds formed through shared challenges and successes in competitive basketball can create lasting relationships that provide stability and perspective during the ups and downs of professional sports careers. The Iowa basketball community's response to Clark's professional success has demonstrated the lasting impact of the relationships she formed during her college career. The continued support from Hawkeye fans and the university community provides ongoing motivation and emotional connection to the place and people who were central to her development as both a player and a person. Community connections from Clark's hometown and high school years remain important sources of identity and grounding, providing reminders of her roots and the values that guided her development long before professional success and fame. These relationships offer perspectives and support that can be particularly valuable during challenging moments in professional competition. The mentorship relationships that Clark has developed with former WNBA players and basketball professionals provide additional layers of support and guidance as she navigates her professional career. These connections offer insights into the long-term challenges and opportunities of professional basketball while providing examples of how to maintain personal relationships and values throughout successful careers. The emotional intelligence required to maintain meaningful relationships while pursuing excellence in professional basketball demands significant maturity and intentionality. Clark's ability to stay connected to the people who matter most while adapting to the demands of professional success reflects the character development that has been as important as her basketball skills in achieving sustained success. The pressure of representing not just herself but also her family, community, and the broader sport creates additional emotional stakes that make personal connections even more significant. The ability to draw strength and perspective from trusted relationships becomes crucial for maintaining both performance and emotional health during the intense demands of professional basketball competition. Looking toward the future of Clark's career and continued development, the relationships that have been central to her journey will likely remain important sources of strength and guidance. The challenge will be maintaining these connections while continuing to grow as both a player and a person in the demanding environment of professional basketball. The broader implications for professional athletes include the recognition that success in elite competition requires not just physical and technical development, but also emotional intelligence and the ability to maintain meaningful relationships that provide support and perspective throughout the ups and downs of competitive careers. If you're as moved by the power of personal connections in professional sports as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How important do you think personal relationships are for professional athletes dealing with intense pressure? Have you ever had a moment where seeing someone from your past created an overwhelming emotional response? WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark recently touched hearts across the nation in a story that proves heroes come in all forms. Questions arise about what drives someone to extraordinary acts of kindness and how sports figures can impact lives beyond the basketball court. The reality of childhood cancer and financial struggles. Childhood cancer affects approximately 15,000 children and adolescents in the United States each year, creating devastating financial burdens for families who must navigate complex medical systems while managing astronomical treatment costs. The average cost of childhood cancer treatment can exceed $500,000, not including additional expenses for travel, lodging, and lost income.
A child in the U.S. is diagnosed with pediatric cancer. That's 15,000 children per year.
Many families facing pediatric cancer diagnoses discover that insurance coverage often falls short of covering all necessary treatments, experimental therapies, and supportive care services. This financial gap forces families to make impossible choices between comprehensive medical care and basic living expenses. The emotional toll on children who understand their family's financial struggles adds another layer of complexity to an already traumatic medical situation. Young patients often develop remarkable resilience and determination when facing life-threatening illnesses, sometimes taking initiative in ways that surprise and inspire adults. Support organizations like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and numerous local charities work to address these financial burdens, but the need consistently exceeds available resources. Legal experts note that medical bankruptcy affects thousands of families annually, with childhood cancer being a significant contributing factor.
After some parents said it may be linked to several recent cases of childhood cancer.
The implications could suggest that stories of young entrepreneurs raising money for their own medical care reflect broader systemic issues with healthcare accessibility and affordability that affect families regardless of their background or circumstances. Caitlin Clark's verified charitable activities. Caitlin Clark has established a documented history of community involvement and charitable activities throughout her basketball career, from her college years at the University of Iowa through her professional career with the Indiana Fever. Her charitable efforts extend far beyond basketball courts and media appearances. During her college career, Clark regularly participated in community service events, including visits to local children's hospitals and youth basketball clinics designed to inspire young athletes. The University of Iowa Athletics Department documented numerous instances of Clark's volunteer work and community engagement. The Caitlin Clark Foundation, established during her professional career, focuses on supporting youth basketball development and educational opportunities for underprivileged children. The foundation has raised substantial funds through various initiatives and partnerships with corporate sponsors.
Caitlin Clark Foundation announced it's giving $22,000 grants to each of these recipients.
Clark's social media presence consistently highlights her involvement with charitable causes, including partnerships with organizations that support childhood cancer research and family assistance programs. Her platform reaches millions of followers who regularly engage with content promoting charitable giving and community support. One has to wonder if Clark's visibility and influence in women's basketball create opportunities for impactful charitable work that extends far beyond what typical professional athletes can accomplish. The situation leaves room for speculation about how sports celebrities can leverage their platforms for meaningful social impact. The power of youth entrepreneurship in crisis. Children facing medical crisis often demonstrate remarkable entrepreneurship and determination when traditional support systems fall short of meeting their families' needs. These young entrepreneurs create businesses, organize fundraisers, and develop innovative solutions with creativity that surprises adult observers. The lemonade stand represents one of the most traditional forms of youth entrepreneurship in American culture, teaching children basic business principles while providing opportunities for community interaction and support. Modern lemonade stands often incorporate sophisticated marketing strategies and social media promotion. Medical crowdfunding and youth-led fundraising initiatives have become increasingly common as families seek creative solutions to healthcare costs that exceed insurance coverage and savings. These efforts often generate community support that extends far beyond financial contributions. A lot of kids in America want to run a lemonade stand, but not many feel like they have to. Legal experts note that youth entrepreneurship for medical expenses raises complex questions about child labor laws, tax implications, and the responsibilities of adults to protect children from financial burdens they shouldn't have to bear. The implications could suggest that stories of children working to pay for their own medical care reflect both inspiring individual determination and concerning gaps in social safety nets designed to protect vulnerable populations. Celebrity encounters and life-changing moments. Professional athletes regularly encounter fans in public settings, creating opportunities for meaningful interactions that can have lasting impact on both celebrities and community members. These encounters often occur spontaneously during routine activities rather than scheduled appearances. The Iowa community where Caitlin Clark attended college has numerous documented instances of her engaging with local residents, including children and families who approach her in restaurants, stores, and public venues. Her accessibility and willingness to interact with fans has become part of her public persona. Celebrity philanthropy often begins with personal encounters that move public figures to take action beyond their planned charitable activities. These spontaneous moments can evolve into long-term relationships and ongoing support that extends far beyond initial meetings. Questions arise about how public figures balance personal privacy with accessibility to fans, particularly when those interactions involve children facing serious medical challenges. The situation creates opportunities for meaningful impact while also presenting complex personal and professional considerations.
Well, a young fan of Caitlin Clark just received what she's calling the best Christmas present ever.
Sports psychologists note that positive fan interactions can be emotionally rewarding for athletes who face intense pressure and criticism in their professional careers, providing opportunities to connect with the communities that support their success. The financial impact of professional athlete philanthropy. Professional athletes, particularly those with high-profile careers and substantial earning potential like Caitlin Clark, have unique opportunities to make significant financial contributions that can completely transform individual family circumstances. The scale of impact possible through celebrity giving often exceeds what traditional charitable organizations can provide. Clark's earnings from her WNBA contract, endorsement deals with Nike and other major brands, and various business ventures create financial resources that allow for substantial charitable giving. Her Nike deal alone is reportedly worth millions of dollars, providing income streams that support both personal and charitable goals. The tax implications of celebrity charitable giving include deductions that can benefit both the donor and recipient. Though legal experts note that substantial gifts often require careful planning to maximize benefits and ensure compliance with tax regulations. Corporate partnerships often amplify celebrity charitable efforts with companies matching donations or providing additional resources that multiply the impact of individual giving. These partnerships create win-win situations that benefit all parties while addressing community needs.
This, likely a first for Caitlin Clark, a megastar on the court, a $28 million deal with Nike just signed.
The viral nature of social media content means that compelling stories can generate massive support within very short time frames. Though the same dynamic can create inequities where some needs receive overwhelming support while others go unnoticed. Legal experts wonder whether social media-driven charitable giving creates sustainable solutions or temporary fixes that don't address underlying systemic issues affecting healthcare accessibility and affordability. Corporate social responsibility and athlete partnerships. Major corporations increasingly partner with high-profile athletes to amplify charitable initiatives and demonstrate corporate social responsibility commitments. These partnerships can multiply the impact of individual charitable acts while providing positive publicity for all involved parties. Nike's partnership with Caitlin Clark includes provisions for charitable activities and community engagement that extend beyond traditional endorsement relationships. The company has a history of supporting athlete-led charitable initiatives and matching employee donations to various causes. Corporate charitable giving often includes employee volunteer programs that provide additional support beyond financial contributions. These programs can create lasting relationships between companies and charitable causes that extend far beyond initial partnerships. The tax benefits available to corporations for charitable giving and community investment create incentives for businesses to support high-profile charitable initiatives led by their sponsored athletes and brand ambassadors.
Marky Perez is completing her treatment for thyroid cancer.
The implications could suggest that high-profile charitable acts by celebrities can inspire broader community giving and corporate social responsibility initiatives that extend the impact far beyond individual contributions. Medical tourism and treatment access. Families facing expensive medical treatments often explore various options for accessing care, including medical tourism, clinical trials, and specialized treatment centers that might offer different cost structures or insurance acceptance policies. The complexity of childhood cancer treatment often requires specialized care available only at major medical centers, creating additional costs for families who must travel significant distances and maintain temporary housing during extended treatment periods. Insurance coverage variations between different treatment facilities and geographical locations can significantly affect out-of-pocket costs for families seeking the best possible care for their children. These variations often force difficult decisions about treatment options based on financial rather than medical considerations. Marky Perez is completing her treatment for thyroid cancer. Legal experts note that medical billing practices and insurance claim processing can create substantial delays and complications that affect families' ability to access timely treatment while managing financial obligations. Questions arise about how healthcare system complexities contribute to situations where families feel compelled to pursue independent fundraising rather than relying on traditional insurance and assistance programs. The role of social media and charitable giving. Social media platforms have fundamentally changed how charitable stories spread and how communities respond to individual needs. Stories of children facing medical challenges can reach massive audiences within hours, generating support from around the world. Caitlin Clark's social media following exceeds 4 million across various platforms, providing unprecedented reach for charitable causes she chooses to support. Her posts about community involvement and charitable activities regularly receive hundreds of thousands of engagements. Crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe have revolutionized individual charitable giving, allowing families to reach potential donors far beyond their immediate communities. These platforms have facilitated billions of dollars in charitable giving for medical expenses and other emergency needs.
Millions of people donate to GoFundMe accounts, but how do you know your money is really going to someone in need?
Questions arise about how corporate partnerships with athletes can be structured to maximize charitable impact while maintaining authentic relationships between celebrities and the causes they support. The psychology of giving and community response. Psychological research on charitable giving reveals that personal stories and direct encounters with beneficiaries create stronger emotional connections than abstract statistics or organizational appeals. Celebrity involvement can amplify these emotional responses and inspire broader community participation. The concept of paying it forward often emerges when individuals receive significant help during times of crisis, creating cycles of charitable giving that extend far beyond initial acts of kindness. These patterns can create lasting positive impacts within communities. Children who receive help during medical crisis often develop strong commitments to helping others facing similar challenges, creating future generations of charitable advocates and volunteers who understand the importance of community support. Community psychology research shows that high-profile charitable acts can inspire broader cultural shifts toward increased giving and volunteerism, particularly when those acts receive significant media coverage and social media attention.
Students and families of Des Moines Public Schools and Diocese of Des Moines got a big surprise today when Caitlin Clark showed up.
The implications could suggest that celebrity charitable giving serves multiple functions beyond addressing immediate needs, including inspiring broader community engagement and creating cultural models for compassionate response to crisis situations, healthcare system challenges, and reform. The frequency of stories involving families struggling with medical expenses highlights broader systemic issues within American healthcare financing that affect millions of families annually. These individual stories often reflect larger policy debates about healthcare accessibility and affordability. Childhood cancer treatment costs have increased significantly over recent decades as new therapies and technologies become available, creating situations where even families with insurance face substantial out-of-pocket expenses that can lead to financial hardship. Patient advocacy organizations work to address healthcare system gaps through policy advocacy, direct assistance programs, and public education about available resources. These organizations often serve as bridges between individual families and broader systemic solutions. Legal experts note that healthcare policy reforms often begin with public awareness of individual stories that illustrate systemic problems. High-profile cases can influence policy discussions and legislative priorities in ways that affect thousands of families. Questions arise about how individual charitable responses to healthcare crises can complement rather than replace systemic solutions that address underlying causes of medical financial hardship. The broader impact on women's sports. Caitlin Clark's prominence in charitable activities contributes to the growing visibility and positive perception of women's professional athletes as role models and community leaders. This visibility can influence how young girls view career possibilities and social responsibility. The commercial success of women's basketball, largely driven by Clark's popularity, creates new opportunities for female athletes to engage in meaningful charitable work supported by substantial financial resources and media attention. Corporate sponsors increasingly recognize the marketing value of supporting charitable initiatives led by prominent female athletes, creating new revenue streams that can be directed toward community support and social impact programs. The growth of women's sports media coverage includes increased attention to athletes' charitable activities and community involvement, providing platforms for promoting social causes and inspiring broader participation in charitable giving.
It is time now for this week's Financial Friday, and we're talking about giving to charities.
Sports analysts wonder whether the current generation of prominent female athletes might establish new standards for athlete social responsibility that influence how future generations approach community engagement and charitable giving. Long-term impact and sustainable support. Individual acts of celebrity charity can create lasting relationships between public figures and the families they help, leading to ongoing support that extends far beyond initial financial assistance. These relationships often evolve into mentorship and advocacy opportunities. The publicity generated by high-profile charitable acts can create ongoing fundraising opportunities for medical research and family assistance programs that benefit many families beyond those initially highlighted in media coverage. Educational opportunities often emerge from charitable relationships, including scholarships, internships, and career guidance that can help families build long-term financial stability and pursue goals that extend beyond immediate medical needs. Community organizations frequently use high-profile charitable stories to promote their own programs and services, leveraging celebrity involvement to reach new donors and volunteers who might not otherwise engage with charitable causes. Legal experts note that sustainable charitable impact often requires ongoing commitment and relationship building rather than one-time financial contributions, creating opportunities for celebrities to develop lasting positive legacies through continued community engagement. The ripple effects of compassionate leadership. Stories of celebrity charity can inspire broader cultural conversations about social responsibility, community support, and the obligations of successful individuals to help those facing challenges. These conversations can influence behavior patterns across entire communities. Young athletes who follow Caitlin Clark's career often cite her charitable activities as inspiration for their own community involvement, creating multiplier effects that extend her impact far beyond her direct charitable giving. Educational institutions increasingly incorporate discussions of athletes' social responsibility into sports programs using real-world examples like Clark's charitable work to teach young athletes about leadership and community engagement.
Caitlin Clark is giving 4 Iowa charities a big boost.
Corporate leaders often reference athlete charitable activities when developing their own company's social responsibility programs, using celebrity examples to justify and explain their commitment to community investment and charitable giving. The implications could suggest that high-profile charitable acts serve as catalysts for broader social change that extends far beyond the immediate beneficiaries of celebrity generosity, privacy, and publicity in charitable giving. The balance between promoting charitable causes and respecting the privacy of families facing medical crisis creates complex considerations for celebrities who want to help without exploiting personal tragedies for publicity purposes. Many charitable acts by public figures never receive media attention because the celebrities choose to help quietly without seeking recognition or publicity. These private acts of generosity often have equally significant impact on recipient families. Media coverage of celebrity charity can create both positive awareness for important causes and unwanted attention for families who prefer to handle their challenges privately. This dynamic requires careful consideration from both celebrities and media organizations. Legal experts note that charitable giving by public figures often involves confidentiality agreements and privacy protections designed to shield recipients from unwanted attention while still allowing for appropriate recognition of charitable impact. Questions arise about how celebrities can balance their desire to inspire others through charitable examples with their responsibility to protect the privacy and dignity of families they choose to help. Looking toward the future of athlete philanthropy, the increasing commercial success of women's professional sports creates new opportunities for female athletes to engage in substantial charitable giving that can have transformative impact on communities and individual families facing crisis. The evolution of social media and digital platforms provides athletes with unprecedented ability to identify charitable opportunities, connect with communities in need, and mobilize support from fans and corporate partners. Educational programs focused on athlete social responsibility are becoming standard components of professional sports training, preparing athletes to use their platforms effectively for positive social impact throughout their careers. Corporate partnerships with athletes increasingly include charitable components that provide ongoing resources for community engagement rather than limiting support to traditional endorsement activities. The implications could suggest that the current generation of prominent athletes might establish new standards for social responsibility that influence how future generations approach the relationship between professional success and community obligation. If you're as inspired by this story of compassion and community impact as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What role should professional athletes play in supporting their communities? How can we better support families facing medical crisis? We want to hear your perspective on athlete social responsibility and community support. Then hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of inspiring stories that show the positive impact sports figures can have beyond their athletic achievements. Thanks for watching.